Okay, kindergarten, for our lesson on value in space, we're going to actually start by tracing our hand and cutting out on construction paper. It doesn't matter what color you pick, just pick two of your favorites. And then you're going to take your hand and simply place it on the page. And you're going to do what's called tracing. You're going to feel along the outer edge as you go around each finger. I think it's good for you to practice this, but if you're struggling, you can ask someone in your home to help with the tracing. There we go. It's probably hard to see, mine's in pencil. You can, if you're a confident cutter, cut two papers at once. Or if that's too challenging, you can always trace your hand again on the second sheet and cut out each one at a time. And this is very good practice for your cutting skills. Remember, cut with the hand you cut with, and your other hand will be holding the paper and turning. Now that you've cut out two hands, go ahead and grab a blank sheet of drawing paper, and this can be from your sketchbook, and you're going to place each hand on one side of the paper. There you go. You'll need a glue stick to glue it in place. Make sure when you use your glue stick, you only roll it up a little bit and get all the areas carefully that you're going to be sticking on. That's my first one. Press it down and then move on to your next one. Okay, your hands are now the positive spaces and the blank paper is your negative space. You can also call it your background. And the hands are what's called your foreground. We're going to talk about those two words more in our lesson next week. Using a pencil, go ahead and create lines on the blank spaces coming out of each finger. These lines can wiggle and jiggle towards the top. Next, we're going to talk about how we can add different values in color to the different spaces we've just created. For this next part, I recommend crayons or colored pencils. In your typical 24 box set, you're going to have several versions of the same type of color. I found 4 different types of blues in this box. There's also many types of reds and purples and so on. On a blank sheet of sketchbook paper, go ahead and test out each one. Ask yourself, which one's the lightest, which one's the darkest? Line them up in order from lightest to darkest, and we're going to show our colors changing along the lines and spaces we made in this picture. Don't have several versions of one color? No problem. Just take a basic color like blue, and you can also do value by changing how hard you push on the paper. This is me pushing really hard, applying a lot of pressure, and then maybe a little bit less, and then maybe a little bit less, and a little bit less, and a little bit less. And there we go. You can see how I went from dark to light with one crayon, just by practicing how heavy or how light I push on the paper. All right, now I've lined up my 4 blue colors, and I'm going to start with my darkest and work my way towards my lightest. When I color in my darkest color, I'm going to apply a lot of pressure, so it's a nice dark, this is almost a bluish purple. It's called indigo. And I will fill in this space nicely. Notice too how I'm outlining around the edges. Go a little more carefully when you're near the fingers. It's okay if you get color on the fingers though. And then keep going. And then my next color would be regular blue, and I would fill it in here. And then I have a color called cerulean, and then a blue-green. Now that I finished my blues, I'm going to start my reds. Now I can only find 3 versions of red that I thought would work. I have red, violet red, and pink. So I'm going to do my last set of colors because I have 4 different sections. I'm going to do my last one with just a really, really light pink. Okay, we'll see how that turns out. Of course, I'm going to start with my darkest here and do the same thing I did before when I had that really dark blue color, and I'm going to press nice and hard. And then as I work my way towards the last space, I'll get lighter and lighter and lighter with how hard I push. Now I'm all done, and not only did I get to practice doing value and space, I have an awesome picture that makes my hands look like magic superhero hands that can project colors. I hope you enjoy making this.